Hi everyone, Nick here. Today we're looking at the 13th weekly event on F1 2019, and this week it's the classic weekly event format where we have the weekly Grand Prix where we race in practice and qualifying offline in the multiplayer car, and then we head online for a multiplayer race at the weekend. So this is the usual format. Times on the right hand side, you can see the best guys are in the 130s and the 131s, so I was hoping to get at least into a 132s. That was my target anyway, and after doing pretty well in some of the recent weekly events, I wanted to do likewise as well. So no assists as per usual. Race settings, the AI driver level, I decided to go slightly bottle it and go for 99. Not quite 100, not quite that brave, because Russia is not one of my best circuits, but I figured, why not? Let's try and challenge myself a little bit, shall we? So in practice, the main issue I had was myself really. I kept on cutting corners, so it took me 3 laps to do the circuit acclimatization lap, because I just kept on messing it up myself. The other sessions were not too bad, but again, not too hard. This one I invalidated my first lap, so not ideal there. Somehow managed to chain together 3 clean laps to pass that particular practice program, but the qualifying program was what worried me. I messed up my first one, went for a second one, but it was only in the 135s. And as I said, I was aiming for 132s, so yeah, not ideal. Just shy of maximum points because we didn't manage to nail the 3rd sector in the quali sim, so 10 points lost there. Big whoop, who cares. Quali though did not go well. Again, all self-inflicted, ran wide there, ran super wide on the left hand side, and rightly invalidated. So that's lap 1 in the bin. Lap 2 was shaping up to be reasonably decent, but I cut the corner again, turned in too early, job done on lap 2 as well. So that meant it was all or nothing on the final lap. So could we manage to get into those 132s like we were aiming for? So we're bombing it down the straight, everything in maximum, and we're looking for the first corner, wanting to break around 120, but the AI decides to do exactly what we're doing there, coming out of the pits as well, completely ruins our lap. So we have got time to do another lap, so we turn everything down, preserve the tyres, trundle round and have another go. So take 4 out of 3. Not really sure I thought I was going to be doing 4 laps on this, I'll have to be honest. So braking around 120 to get it turned in nicely. That's not gone too badly. You can ignore the delta in the top right hand corner because obviously my previous best was me trundling round, saving my tyres, doing a 153. I hope to be slightly quicker than that, so it will be green the entire way round. And we've had a tidy lap so far. I think because we knew we couldn't invalidate, I had to be slightly careful. So you can see they're slower than I normally would be, and I didn't push the limits anywhere near as much as I could have done. So as a result, I'm leaving time on the table, but I'd rather get an average lap than no lap at all and start at the back of the grid. And especially as this whole thing is based on the points you score, both in the race itself and in qualifying. You don't want to get a 0 for qualifying. So we're into sector 3. Again, it's not been great. We're up on the AI's time, but it's only 99% AI, so nothing to write home about. So we're going to go through the last sector, try and keep it tidy through the last 2 corners. Not ideal there, could have probably gone a bit further. Locked it up, turned in late there, and we're going to cross the line, and we've done a 133.444. Numerically pleasing with all the repeated numbers, but it's 884th in the world, top 13%. We need to be doing better than that. That's just not great. The race itself though was going to be wet. As you can see there from the weather forecast, we had 4 light rain clouds and 2 rain clouds. So based on that, I think we had a 14 lap race. So I don't know what, first 3 laps are dry and then it starts raining. So I decided to put a full wet setup on to try and take advantage. I knew I was going to be slow at the start, but I was hoping it was going to come back to me during the rest of the race. My start wasn't too bad, and we've actually got a bit of a jump on second place. But he's got the inside on turn 1, not that it's much of a corner, and he gets the toe from Thomas, which gets him into second. Giles tries it up the inside there, but I'm not having that off the AI, not on this mode, so we go back up the inside and have retaken the place. So our thoughts again turn to the cars in front, and we have already got a little bit of a gap. It's not ideal. And there are actually only 3 human opponents in this race. It's somewhat disappointing. I don't know. I think the numbers in the weekly races aren't amazing. And maybe I picked a bad time to do it or something like that. But, you know, you've got a grid of 20 cars. You want it to be 20 human players, not 3 opponents for you to race against. That's not the most exciting. But you can see as we get towards the end of Sector 2, that gap ahead is growing. The gap behind is becoming really quite massive as Ashley Giles is doing us an absolute favour and holding everyone behind us up. But we are starting to lose touch. We don't think it's too much of an issue at this point because, as I say, I've got that wet setup and that should pay dividends towards the end of the race once the track is wet, once we're on inters. Probably going to be inters, doesn't look like it's going to be wets, but you can never 100% trust the weather forecast on this game. But as we cross the line, we've actually lost 4 seconds to the leader. Over 1 lap, that's not great. And by the end of lap 3, you can see that's now 6.5 seconds, just to second place. Now at this point it started spitting with rain, but we were already 4 laps into the race. That's a decent chunk of time gone. So that whole plan of being on wet tyres for most of the race, that's just not happening, just not coming true. So we've probably made a bit of an error here. Near the end of lap 5, we're coming through the chicane, and at this point it starts to feel a little bit slippery. We go very wide there, and as Jeff pipes up on the radio, I decide maybe let's go into the pits. It feels like it's starting to get really a little bit slippier, so maybe it's on the brink. Maybe we can just get a little sneaky undercut onto the inters. And you also see there that even though earlier on I showed you that I had the elite assist setting, so I had pit assist turned off, pit assist was turned on in the race. There's something going on with this game in the weekly events where the assists aren't carrying over properly. I know that other people have had issues with it as well, that things like ERS are being set incorrectly. That's annoying. Pit assist, I'll let it off. As long as I know which one's on or off, it's not too bad. And of course the opposite is not great. Anyway, we've gone out onto the track on inters, and within 1 corner we immediately regret this decision. Yeah, it is raining, but there's not much spray. It doesn't look like there's any kind of standing water or anything like that. We've gone too early here. So at this point we're just basically praying for some more rain. And it wasn't until halfway round lap 7 that DRS got disabled. And DRS being disabled is the universal sign that it is now time to come in for inters. So I've come in 2 laps early, and that's really going to cost me, really going to hurt me. So lap 8 we cross the line, and the cars in front of us have now pitted for inters, and we're 11.8 seconds behind. The guy in third, Julian Dollars, was just behind us when we pitted, so that's not good. And even though we had that wet setup, you can see it's now 12.8 seconds, so we're losing time. Not good. And then apart from battling with some AI cars to be lapped, nothing else happened. Unfortunately, one of the more disappointing races. So we finished 4th there, 32 seconds off the pace. We didn't have a pace in the dry, we didn't have a pace in the wet, we didn't get the strategy right. I'm not really sure what did go right in that. We got 222,000 points, and at the time of doing the race, that wasn't too bad. That was 157th, but it wasn't that good in the end. I think it was, well, 8-9% or something, so just not good enough. Need to do much better in the next event. Anyway, that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, then don't forget to like the video, and if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, then get right on that now. You know it makes sense. And let me know what you reckon of this weekly event. Did you give it a go? Did you manage to get the strategy right? Did you manage to make a mess of it like me? Let me know below in the comments. But until next time, and the next video, goodbye.